This is the plaintiff, Michael. He says he and the defendant were in a relationship for 10 years. And when they broke up, she stole $5,000 from the bank account they shared. He never imagined she'd do something like that to him. Her son's now calling him and threatening him because he's suing her today, and he just wants his money returned so he can move on once and for all. This is the defendant, Linda Bacon. She says the plaintiff broke up with her on New Year's Eve. Now he's suing her for money she withdrew from their joint account? Please. She carried the plaintiff financially for 3 years, made sure their mortgage and taxes were paid on their house, and he now has the nerve to sue her for her money. She's accused of taking what's not hers.
All parties, please, your right hand. Seated, come to order, please. Litigants have been sworn in.
Thank you, Douglas.
You're welcome in.
Okay. Michael, you're suing your ex-girlfriend,
Yes.
Ms. Bacon, for $5,000 that you say she wrongfully took out of a joint account 3 months after you broke up?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. How long were you two together?
Actually, it wasn't 3 months, ma'am.
No, how much later?
About 2 months,
Oh,
actually.
okay. That's just as weird.
Well, what
All right,
happened-
so let's backtrack. You folks dated for how long?
9 years.
9 years.
Yes.
All right. And what was the cause of the breakup?
In my opinion, she abandoned the relationship.
By what?
Okay. She was staying at my house. Her mother was sick. Let me back up even further. Linda was staying with me because she didn't want to be in her sister's house. That's why she was with me.
Not because she loved you and she'd been with you for 9 years?
Well, her sister from day one has been telling her to get out. When are you going to leave? When are you going to get out?
So she's staying with you, and then her mother's sick, and then
All
what?
right.
How did she abandon the relationship?
She stopped being attentive to it.
Oh.
Period.
All right.
I have done everything for this woman from the day that I met her. Her mother, she would not go and sit with her mother for the whole time we were together. So I would be the one to go and sit with her mother after the daytime home attendant left.
Okay, so you break up, and then what happens? You break up in what month?
December.
New Year's Eve?
Okay, first of all,
Just tell me when you broke up, sir.
we broke up. Yes, she asked to spend time on New Year's Eve. If you looked at the text, I said, I've been trying to spend time with you for the entire year. You have not wanted to spend time with me all of this year. So no, I don't think spending New Year's Eve would be
All
a
right,
good
so
idea.
you break up December 31st.
Right.
By text, no less. How old are you?
Okay, I'm 59.
Yeah, by text you guys break up. That's kind of weird.
Ma'am,
and
that's
no,
only
I tell
because
my
she-
14-year-old don't do that. All right, but anyway.
That's because she wouldn't answer the phone.
You two break up by text, and then there's a joint account? How long has there been a joint account?
Since July, when I sold my house.
Okay. And why was there a joint account?
I wanted to buy a co-op for myself.
Okay.
Linda wanted to live with me in my co-op. When I went to pay to buy the co-op, they asked the question, is anyone going to be living with you? Because it was going to be solely mine. I was going to take the entire...
Can you tell me why her name was on the bank account? Because you're telling me all kinds of stuff that doesn't answer me.
Her name was on the bank account because the co-op board said, if anybody's going to be living in the house, they have to be on the lease. So therefore, my lawyer and the person that set up the finances said, this is how it must be done.
So they said you have to open up a joint account.
Right.
All right. So the money that went into that account came from where?
My estate, my mother's estate when we sold the house.
From the sale of your mother's house that was part of yours that went to you.
Right.
Okay.
Linda did not
Is that accurate so far?
The joint account was opened with the money from the settlement, yes.
Any other money that went in there? Anybody's paychecks?
No.
Anything else? No. So you break up in December, and when do you
Yes.
find out that she's dipped in the till?
When her mother died.
What was the date your mother died, ma'am?
4/12.
All right, and then, so how do you find out that she's taken money out of the joint account?
I called her to give her my condolences. And she said, yeah, fine. By the way, I took money out your account.
Did she say why she did that?
She said, I took $25 out for the car and
25.
$2,500 for the car.
For what car?
She had a car that I was her chauffeur for basically for the whole time.
Okay, could you stop whining and just tell me what she took the $2,500 out for? Tell me what she took it out for. Repairs? What?
She said she took it out for the car, and she didn't give me an explanation. She just
You
said,
didn't ask?
Ma'am, she kept talking. She said, I took 25 out for the car.
Do you know what she meant or no?
Yes.
What does she need $2,500 for the car for?
That I'm not sure.
Okay, can you tell me why you took $2,500 out of a joint account, which you have acknowledged was composed entirely of his money?
Yes. The $2,500, no, okay. I wrote a check for $5,000. That
Why?
was to repair the roof in the building where I was living. $2,500 was the IOU from the payment for the car, for his car. And
okay, I don't know what you mean.
$2,500.
Try to tell me, explain what you mean. You felt he owed you $2,500?
And welcome back to the People's Court. Harvey Levin here. So if two people have a joint bank account, is either one of them allowed to take all of the money out, essentially raid the account?
Unfortunately, yes. I've seen it happen.
And they're allowed to do it?
Yeah.
What do you say? It doesn't sound fair, but are they allowed to?
It's not fair, but I guess they are allowed to if it's both of their accounts.
So would you have a joint bank account with anybody?
No.
Somebody who you love? Somebody who you trust?
Someone who I trust, yeah.
Yeah, but until you don't, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, going inside the courtroom.
When he had the opportunity to get a car from his father, I loaned him money.
When was
When?
that?
That was 2012, 2013.
And you think that that entitles you to dip your hand into his bank account
No.
6 years later?
No, that is not why.
Well, you better say something after you say
Okay.
that, lady.
Since I contributed financially to the relationship for most of the time that we were together, I did not think it would be a problem to borrow money from him. Now, since he
how
did
about
not,
this?
since he did
if you
not,
don't think it's a problem, why don't you ask him to
right,
loan
I
you
would
money?
have, except that since I tried to contact him, he told me, I'm sorry, your phone number has been blocked on my phone.
Then I guess you can't borrow money from him. Like, how does that
Now-
mean that you remember there's a joint account and then you go over there and then you take money?
There were a number of other things that happened along the line, okay?
Ma'am, I need you to look at me.
Okay,
I have a very specific question.
yes.
You guys broke up at least 2 months earlier. All the money that is in that account came from the sale of his mother's house. What on God's green acres gave you the right to go into that account? Not the ability. I know what gave you the ability.
Yes.
The ability is that you aren't too swift. And when you two broke up, you needed to transfer all the money out of that account into a regular account that only had your name.
Yes, ma'am.
Right. I know what gave you the ability. I'm asking you what gave you the right.
Yes, because I had been in a relationship with someone who agreed that we would help each other out.
Okay.
Okay. Although,
But you were no longer in that relationship.
Yes, although he told me very rudely that we were no longer in a relationship because I could not contact him to ask him specifically
You thought
about
you'd just
that.
take the money without permission.
Even though
because your phone was blocked, which is a clear indication that there's no more conversation between the two of you, you didn't have a chance to ask him if you could borrow the money. So instead, you just took the money.
Okay.
Am I wrong?
I believe what I did was borrow the money with the intent of repaying what was owed to him.
What part of $5,000 do you think was owed to him?
$2,500.
Okay. And why wouldn't the other $2,500 be owed to him?
Because he agreed that he would repay what I gave him to purchase his car.
In
Not my car.
2013.
Yes. 2013 and 2015, yes.
Excuse me.
I'd like to hear your response to the last thing she just said.
It's one of the reasons why we left. It's an out-and-out lie. It's an out-and-out lie.
Did she loan you money to
Never.
fix or buy a car?
I had 2 cars present to this, and I'm glad she brought it up. My father gave me a Buick Sabre.
Did she or didn't she loan you money?
No.
Okay. So where is she getting this stuff about you?
I don't know. This is why I'm incredulous.
Okay, now I saw a series of texts between the two of you where she agrees to pay back $2,500 and actually seems to imply that the other $2,500 is owed to her. What's that about?
I, until just now, thought it was the car that I was driving. I bought a car from this lady right here, and we put it in her name because we were supposed to register it. I paid for that car, so I'm not sure. I'm really confused with what she's talking about. She has never given me $2,500 in the whole time that we've been together.
Can you prove that he owes you $2,500?
I cannot prove that he owes me $2,500 for a car, no.
Okay. Can you just explain to me why there would continue to be a joint account 2 months after you broke up?
Honestly, because I had no idea. This was never in her...
Why, as a normal thinking person with connected brain cells, did you forget you had the account?
No, ma'am.
Why would, no, ma'am. Why wouldn't you take that money out and put it in your own account if it's all your money?
Okay. One, I was doing quite a few different things.
So you did forget?
No, I didn't forget. As a matter of fact...
If you did, the minute when you remember,
ma'am,
why didn't you run to the bank?
I'm answering your question because
and close it out.
I trusted this woman.
Why would you trust a woman? How'd that work out?
I see now where I'm wrong.
Okay.
But I went to the bank and I asked the bank manager. She said, yeah, but without them, you have to do this and that and the other. I said, that's not in Linda's character. I'm going to do this later. And if you will look,
you'll see the bank even alerted you that you really should close out that account.
Yeah, and I'm saying, I've been with her 9 years.
You were too lazy to do it.
No, ma'am. I really trusted, and I had no idea, which is why I'm still sick that this was in her character.
Truly.
It was a stupid move on my part.
I need you to stop talking. I need you to listen to me. It's ridiculous.
It was stupid, yes,
People
ma'am.
do not break up and then leave a joint account there and hope everything goes well.
Well, I was taking care of my business.
That was insanity.
Yes, it was.
All right? Because look at what happened. He blocked me, so I figured it was all right for me to borrow the money. But are you out of your mind?
Absolutely not.
Well, it kind of sounds like you are.
No.
I mean, because he could really go to the police and have charged you with theft.
I don't think so.
Well, Ms. Bacon, I got some news. You think no, I think yes, and the only one between the two of us that's a lawyer and a judge is me, right? I'm telling you right now, that was a mistake. And a mistake that I'm going to remedy. I'm finding in favor of the plaintiff in this case in the amount of the $5,000.
So the judge finds the defendant does indeed owe the plaintiff $5,000. But you tried to make a point to the judge. You're holding your finger up at the very end. What did you want to say?
There were $3,000 worth of tickets on the car that was registered in my name that Michael was driving that I paid. So in addition to money that I gave him, I believe that he should have been responsible for at least half of that.
Well, you didn't bring it up. Didn't get it.
I didn't get to, yes.
Didn't get it. All right, I'm sorry.
Okay.
This is going to end it between you two,
Absolutely.
right? It's over.
Oh, it's been over.
Been over.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much.
Okay,
you
thank
must sign
you.
a few documents on your way out of the courtroom. All right, Michael is on his way out of the courtroom. What about that? Were there $3,000 worth of tickets on the car?
No, she tried to manipulate and do a lot of things. The car was her car. She refused to drive it.
Yeah.
Whenever I left it, she would cry and I would have to come and get it. She just tried to manipulate, and I got tired and I left. Okay. And now she's being vindictive.
Yeah. All right. Well, you're going to get the money, okay?
That's all that's
good
important.
enough. Thank you very much. Okie dokes. Harvey?
I mean, there is a point where judges will say you are not allowed to raid the account just because you can if it amounts to fraud.